naturally, I'm a Tottenham man, obviously. I can reflect back to being a player with and manager of some of the finest players that have ever been in the game.
The place is fantastic, the tradition of this club.
To be the manager of 3 cup-winning teams here, I'm so lucky, it's untrue.
Hotspur America Podcast, airing every week during the English Premier League season.
What a glory, glory night at White Hart Lane. This great and historic football club.
Joyful night down the Tottenham High Road.
Hotspur America, the original US-based podcast dedicated solely to Tottenham Hotspur Football Club.
Gascoigne gonna have a crack? He is, you know. Oh, I say! Schoolboy's own stuff.
I hate Arsenal, just hate them.
Oh, what a goal! Unbelievable! Wow, this is incredible.
We're the Yids in America.
Dukes is there to tap in.
What a fantastic run! He scored! And it's turned home, Eric Dyer!
This is your Hotspur America. Episode 27, Hotspur America Podcast, first season. I'm Ken. With me today, as always, Sam and Simon. Sam?
How are we?
Spurs sick. That's our mantra. Hashtag Spurs sick. We are Spurs sick today. You're not as much because you have some
I don't know
clarity.
It's the irony. Oh, the irony that I am not Spurs sick. I have this sense of calm and just acceptance of sort of today and who we are and what we're trying to do and what this is probably going to take. And I don't think I have a real false set of expectations going forward now. And I'm comfortable with the fact that we've just got a basic run-in of I don't know how many games we have left, and we'll see where the chips fall.
Yeah, for me, it's because this was my first shot at silverware as a supporter of the club, and I feel like my dog died right now. So
Sure.
I'm not happy, but it's such as life. I understand it. This is part of the deal, especially being a Spurs supporter. This is part of the deal. And I knew that going in. Many conversations with you two, as well as many other people who have been doing this a long time, and a lot longer than I, and knew it was part of the deal. I didn't want to accept that. I thought and felt we could win everything that we get our hands on, but such is life. Getting knocked out of the competitions early doesn't hurt, obviously, nearly as much as going all the way to the final and then having it all peter out on you. Anyway, Simon, also with us today.
Hello.
Bonjour. Yeah.
My voice is gone.
Good.
Did lot of singing today.
How are you? How are you really?
I'm dying inside, fellas. To be honest, it's been 6.5, almost 7 hours since the game ended. Well, it's been 7 hours since the game ended, and I'm dying a little bit inside. I think we, in our hearts, we wanted to win. In our minds, I think we knew the outcome was going to be inevitable, and it proved that way. I think, the 5-3 game in January, I don't call it a fluke, but that was very un-Spurs-like, and this was very true to form of our recent record with them. Certainly not taking anything away from that victory in January, but it was asking too much to have a repeat of anything close to that. But you know what? When Eriksson hit the crossbar, had that gone in, who knows what would have happened.
Yeah.
Game of inches.
Yeah.
My train of thought is there, but it's
Well, I mean, let's not lose sight of the fact that was our fourth game in 10 days. So look, kudos to Chelsea. They have a remarkable squad. They're not leading the league for it's not a fluke, right? We've played a lot. You have to absolutely kind of hit perfect, if you will, to beat a team of that caliber. And no excuses for the many games that we've had, but look, we're at a struggle with 2 weeks of rest against a squad like that, with the resources that they have. So, look, did you see any lack of effort today? And I think that, to me,
right.
No.
You could argue that we didn't really have much output in the second half, but we battled the whole way. And we certainly had not been as lackluster as some of the recent performances. There really weren't the errors that we've seen recently. They scored off 2 deflections, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
Even Harry Kane had mentioned on Twitter, on a different day, neither one of those goals go in.
Right.
Yeah, neither of them were defensive blunders. I mean, the blunder that led to the, I think it was the second goal, was a bad foul by Chadley. And if you watch that again, I think you will see he did foul Ivanovic. It wasn't like it was bad positioning. Walker's positioning, and who is it? John Harkes. He gave Walker actually I think he gave Poch a bollocking for not subbing Walker, and I thought it was just terrible analysis because his positioning was fine. Costa's a fantastic striker. He's not left-footed, but he's two-footed, and he got a good touch on. And you know what? Lloris was probably going to save that. I mean, if you really watch his technique, Walker gets his head around very quickly. He's in pretty good position there. So it wasn't like Fiorentina, that's for sure.
No, because Fiorentina, that was just a bumblefuck of a game. I mean, we walked out of that disgusted as supporters. Like, what are we watching? Because this is not the team that we watched dominate Chelsea 5-3, that we watched dominate the North London Derby. And it's really, I don't know if this is the youth thing. We talk about the fitness levels and we talk about we don't have any injuries right now, but are these guys hitting a little bit of a wall mid-season, kind of like the doldrums of summer for baseball and whatnot when you get into the 100th game or whatever, and it's just, you're kind of running out of a little bit of gas and you can't really see the light at the end of the tunnel for the end of the season as you start to attain things. You want that to come quicker, and you want the results to reflect some kind of positivity in what it is that you're trying to do. That's at least what I think of as a supporter. But when you don't see that and you get into these dog days, I guess is the best way to put it, when you have a bunch of 19, 20, 21, and 22-year-olds, is it harder for the, we've talked about the captaincy issue, but is it harder for the Llorises and the Vertongans to get these guys rounded up and say, look, this is what we have to do and this is the way we have to do it? I'm going to come away from today, a couple of weeks from now, looking at this as an ultimate learning experience for those young players. To take Mason and Bentaleb and Rose and Walker, Kane and the rest, and say, now you have taste. Now you know what it takes to get there. Now you know what it takes to win. And you get Pochettino trying to build off of that a little bit with his system. The one thing that I see in the Chelseas and the Cities is not... the upfront guys are great. You have Aguero, you have Costa, but you know what? We have Harry, and Harry's doing his part. I think what we lack is that Hazard, that Silva, that winger that takes all the pressure off the middle. And if we had a winger that took all that pressure off the middle, Eriksen and Kane, I think, could work wonders for this club as their maturity continues to progress in their careers.
Well, look, I don't want to shine a light up their backside, but let's face it. I mean, compare their midfield to ours, and we don't have anybody, maybe with the exception of Eriksen, and I wouldn't say that to be now, certainly not from his recent displays, but there's nobody in our midfield that shows that kind of talent. We don't have a Fabregas in there. I thought the Brazilian fella did. I thought he played pretty well today.
Yeah, he had a great
Hazard is a remarkable player. I mean, and they create and if you think about what they did outside the 18, where they were putting Costa in positions to have shots and then also have their own shots to create space for themselves to shoot. We don't have that. We lack that.
It became very evident early on that their game plan was to choke Harry Kane out of this game, and that's what they did, and we couldn't capitalize on it whatsoever.
Yeah, he's a wonderful manager. There's no doubt about that.
I think we had 2 shots on target, and the second one was like the 36th minute.
Yeah.
So.
But again, there was no lack of effort. There was no lack of gumption.
My man of the match was Bentaleb. I thought he ran his socks off today.
Yeah.
That was arguably one of his best performances in a Spurs shirt.
I agree. It was a toss-up between him and Dyer for me. I thought both. If you combine their age, there are people still playing in the league that are that combined age at 39. It is amazing what those two are doing as young players.
Yeah, Dyer looked like an England fullback to me. He really did. He looks like he's going to be a great player. I mean, he had no problems whatsoever with Costa. There was one ball, I think it was in the second half, where he snuffed it and he ran with Costa from the moment that I think it was a 1-2 where Costa gave the ball away, or somebody gave the ball to a midfielder and Costa knew he was on for a run, and Dyer was with him pace,
step
for step,
yeah.
And then a terrific tackle in the first half, and then he got up in his face and said, "Look, I'm not going to let you intimidate me." And look, he's a right cunt, isn't he? I mean, but every player in the league would love to have a Diego Costa. I mean, he just happens to be theirs and not ours. Right. So, and Dyer was brilliant. I thought Dyer was great today.
So we're gonna go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, interesting story. So, was it John Hatcher who put the Chavs that were down the pub in their place today? He had an interesting story in the Dallas Cup, I think 2011. He was driving around some Everton players. I think Ross Barkley was part of the Everton team that year, and also was driving around some Sporting players. One of them happened to be Dyer. He was over here for Dallas Cup. And he really didn't twig until he started to see him in the team. So I know that guy from somewhere. So yeah, he drove him around and said he was a good lad back then. So that would have been 4 years ago. So what's he? He's 21 now, right? So he'd have been 17 back then.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think he was playing in the supergroup, the U19 supergroup, as probably a 17 or 18-year-old.
Yep.
Quality lad.
Nice.
Yeah. Seems like a good kid, and certainly is a bright talent. And
I'm glad to see him starting at centre back. That's good for him.
Yeah. I think
that's his preferred position. Yeah.
I agree. I mean, it's great that he can fill in at right back, but that's not his shtick. It's really not.
And I really think that it takes pressure off of Vertonghen. I think, aside from Fazio, Kabul, Kirikesh, that he makes Vertonghen better when he's playing at Vertonghen's right. I think those two might, we kind of, they had this thing, earlier in the season, 14 of 15, where Vertonghen and Fazio didn't lose a game. But Fazio's lack of pace is really a haunt for the club. He has great vertical ability. He does not lose headers in the air.
Yeah.
But his pace, and for us playing those wingers up the ends, or up the wings rather, his pace becomes a liability at times.
Yeah,
and
you want him to play.
Does not have that problem.
Yeah, you want Fazio to play in those sort of big physical matchups, not against teams that are quick and counter fast and are on the break a lot.
Yeah.
With speedy midfielders and speedy forwards. I agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree.
So we're going to continue to talk about the match and get going, but I wanted to take just a few quick seconds. March 2nd, which is tomorrow, as we record on the 1st, is Mauricio Pochettino's 43rd birthday. So big shout out to Mauricio Pochettino, the gaffer. Happy birthday, mate. Hope you're having a good one. I know that it's kind of a rough start to a birthday weekend, or a rough end to it anyway, and as you go into the next week. And then we have two games this week, Swansea on Wednesday, QPR on Saturday, and it's going to just snowball from there. We're going to be, I think we're a game at hand right now, and we're going to be making up some time. So happy birthday to him. That was the main message.
You want a useless bit of Pochettino's side trivia I noticed today?
Yes. And
I'm not a watch guy. No, I don't even wear a watch. But he has a really, really flash watch. He has an Audemars, and I'm probably going to butcher the pronunciation, Audemars Piaget, I think is how you pronounce it. Maybe I have that wrong. And he's worn that watch every match of the season. And I noticed today that in his suit, he was in this flash Italian watch, very, very expensive also. It was a Panerai. It was a gold Panerai. So I wondered whether that might have been his birthday present. So anyway, completely useless. But it wasn't cricket.
You total virologist.
Wow.
Sorry. Anyway, that was absolutely... why did I even bring that up? Anyway. Where are we going now, Kenny? Where are we going now?
Again, we talked about kind of a rough week. Fiorentina match, the 0-2 loss. We got knocked out. But I want to continue with this Chelsea feeling and what we are. The one thing I want to really just reach out to right now is the Dallas Spurs supporters group. What a massive turnout for a Sunday morning match. We understand, the weather's been kind of shit here in Dallas. It really has.
Cool. Ice
and snow and whatnot. So today was probably really the first legitimate day for families to be able to get out of the house after about 2, if not 3 days of being kind of iced in. And it was remarkable to me that between church and other things to go do, that we had almost 85 people down the pub today. And a big shout out to all the people in Dallas Spurs, all the people who listen, that are a part of Dallas Spurs, as well as all of you out there who are not. The supporters group's pictures from all over the U.S., San Diego, Seattle, Los Angeles, what'd they have? 200?